This lesson is about functions. Now, functions are very important in computer languages because they save coders a lot of time. Coders often create their own functions, and as we can see here, that it's a piece of code that you can easily call over and over again. For example, if I want something to draw a certain shape, rather than every time having to say, okay, go forward, make a right turn, go forward, make a right turn, go this many pixels, etc., I can just say, draw a square, because I've programmed it to know that draw a square does those things every time. But this could be a function for almost anything. It could be respawn a player in a game. That could be a function. Or it could be draw a mountain. Or it could be a function to set score back to 0. And whatever it is, whatever that function is, it's already got that code sort of memorized to that function. So all you have to do is say the function, and it does all the code behind it. So it's a piece of code that you can easily call over and over again. You see here, I want to start introducing variables too, because, and I'll go over this again and again and again in class too, because everybody has to know this word. Variables are usually a value that can change to be any value. This is really easily thought of, like you could have a variable, most games have a variable called score. And we know that score can start at 0 and go up to 100, 1,000. It can change depending on what happens in your game. But the variable is always the same word, score. So that's an example, because it can be, the one variable can be many different values. And that's true of a lot of things, lives, possessions, inventory. In games, there's a lot of things that can change variables. But this goes for all types of programming. Calculators have variables. Everybody has variables. But we'll practice this a lot more. Today's is mostly about functions. So to get to the lesson today, you might be in... because you're assigned to lesson 2. So no matter what you're in today, say you're in nested loops or you're just finishing up, you can always go back. If you click on I have a teacher homepage here, but if you go up to this top right and you click on it, you'll have this Code Studio. And when you click on this, you'll go back and you'll see all the available courses and extra courses and activities that are available to you. Now what you need to go to today is the course 3, because this has the functions activity in it. Course 3 obviously follows course 2. It's got a lot more advanced topics. We're not going to do all of these because some things repeat, although even when you do these mazes, if you have time, you could do these because they get a lot harder, and the artist is a lot harder than it was in course 2. And that's true for a lot of these activities. But in the functions, I'm going to jump right to the second one because it's a good example of a function. I'll just hit start over here. So for the purposes of these exercises, so they want you to remember that a function, no matter what it is, has code behind it. So they've always given you the code. So even though it says draw a square is the function, because it will draw a square. I'll run it and it will draw a square. So it's drawn a square but here's the code that it's actually using. It's not part of this program exactly, but it's already been assigned to this function, that to repeat 4 times, go forward by 100 pixels and then turn right by 90 degrees. That makes a square. So that is what a function is. Otherwise, these are very similar to the other artist activities we've done. But just remember that we're simplifying this, and as it gets more complicated, there'll be other functions too. Here's one for drawing a hexagon. Same thing, 6-sided, random color, and it goes the appropriate pixels and degrees. So it already knows how to draw a hexagon. There's a function that already exist to draw a hexagon. This is true in a lot of programming languages too. If we get on beyond Scratch, we'll see that in other programming languages already have functions that are built by the people who made the program or the people who work with the program. So there's lots of useful functions that already exist that we can use as programmers to save us a ton of time in writing code. So keep functions in mind. As we get more into programming and you're creating your own activities and games, you're going to want to use functions to make your code much easier to write. So get to work on these activities. You'll see there's several. This is such an important topic. There's two. You get the artist functions and the bee functions you can do. Please let me know if you have any questions.